Web 2.0 and Math Part 2. Let's talk about podcasts. Personal on demand. It does not individualize much better than that. A podcast is a digital audio file. And I'm sure that she's listening to a math rap. Let kids get creative. They can create and record mnemonic devices to help them remember formulas, math raps for math facts, or you can record your lectures. And Audacity is a free program. Add an inexpensive microphone, plus a site to share your podcast, and again, extend the classroom beyond the four walls, beyond the school day. And Audacity can be a fun program. If you're recording your lectures, you can add another track and add background music. Let's talk about wikis. This is the brand for Wikipedia, probably the best known wiki. And generally before we start wikis in classes, we reflect with the students on the community within the resource. I kind of share this illustration with them. I just heard someone refer to Sam Bradford. Who's Sam Bradford? Well, a student over in one part of their classroom might tell me that he's the 2008 Heisman Trophy winner, and the student on the other side of the classroom might add that Bradford's the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. And now I have information about Sam Bradford thanks to this informal setting. Now, I'm not going to quote these people in some research paper, but I have a better understanding of this shared information. With Wikipedia, this shared information resource just got much bigger. So I explained to students that within a classroom wiki, we're creating a classroom resource as good as the best information. Now, a wiki is basically a website with an edit button, and the most basic, non-interactive, non-wiki way to use wikis is as a classroom website. Wikis are free and relatively easy to use. I can add and edit text, add pictures, multimedia. I can link pictures or pages within a site, and I can link to other sites. I can add documents. There's a place for discussion, and I can add a password to protect my site, or I can make it public. But there's a much better use as a collaborative resource. We've included examples of wikis created by several calculus and pre-calc classes. The students were teamed and assigned a rule or math vocabulary term. Each team was given a page to share. The assignment was to create a classroom resource, and each team became the experts for the term. Here's an example of student work. These students created a well-organized page. They have included purpose, guidelines, and warned of common mistakes. They've added a document here that contains examples. This is a demonstration of their knowledge and understanding. They covered all these terms during the first trimester, and for the second, they were the experts for implicit differentiation. Here's another section of a student-created page. They were a little differently creative. This team created their own video explaining higher-order derivatives. And other teams developed multimedia presentations or PowerPoints. Students found videos on YouTube and or linked websites. The students were amazed at the number of math tutorials and all of the information available to them on the internet. They linked to websites, and they also began to link to related pages within the site. I chose this to use as an example because this team was not real happy with this assignment. They really didn't know how to approach it. They did come back after school and used a lot of ideas from the team that created one of the previous slides. That's okay. The Digital Youth Project, a 3-year study of youth media use, pointed out that students learn from one another. And some of the students weren't really thrilled about collaborating with fellow students. We would notice that a team of students, well, each student on the team was building a page, and we'd have to point out that they needed to design only one page. It was about working together to create a page. This slide will share with you and give you an idea of some of the capabilities of wiki spaces. These types of activities help provide structure for student understanding. Students are active learners. That's not to be confused with motivated learners. Active means that they learn in non-traditional, non-lecture type ways. Motivated is what we want them to be and are hoping that technology will help. Other ideas for classroom wikis include, perhaps a site about measurement, math vocabulary for the course, or maybe a collection and presentation of some classroom data. to use statistics. These sites were created with Wikispaces. Wikispaces has a special link for teachers, including a blog for sharing ideas and presentation slides that can be used when explaining how-to your class. Student safety and well-being are most important to us as we develop the rules for the road and tips and tricks for this innovation. Most importantly, locate your district's acceptable use policy and don't just ask the students to read and sign. Spend time evaluating the policy. Ask them to identify important parts and provide opportunities for them to question and discuss those things that seem unimportant or irrelevant. And equally important, keep the parents informed of the online activities. Like any lesson, provide structure, have direction, use guidelines and rubrics. While many students have experience with social networks like Facebook and MySpace, they have no experience and no idea what we expect them to do with technology in an educational setting. And remember, technology is not always easy. Tell your technology person what you're doing well in advance. Also consider recruiting student volunteers within each class to assist as classroom technicians. Identify 4 to 6 students and spend time in advance demonstrating the technology. Then let them help in the classroom. And most important, please don't add this to your list of things to do. Don't layer this on top of an already busy classroom agenda. But you're moving from a teacher-centered classroom to a student-centered classroom, and as you do, become a keen observer of student learning. Analyze how your students learn. Become a teacher researcher. Recognize that you have a front row seat to student learning. So we don't use Web 2.0 in our classroom because it's part of youth culture or because it's technology. We use it because students can build greater skill, knowledge, and understanding while practicing communication, creativity, and collaboration. Now we place some resources and or information in an iKeep bookmark site. We've included information about each of the tools we've discussed. It's pretty limited. There are a few sites, a video about the purpose and or use, and perhaps some articles about best practices. Also included links to the Digital Youth Research Project and a link to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, an advocacy organization about infusing 21st century skills into education. And let's make this a community resource. If you find something to share, please add a pop-up tool from the site and share. And if you email me, please reference this conference in the subject line. Thanks. Lets me select the page. So how can I use the social bookmarking in a math classroom? Well, as